Did you see on my page what Coach said?
I was so clean.
Most people are at their seats. Call this meeting to order. Welcome everyone for a rare Tuesday meeting, September the 3rd. We should be able to get through this agenda in good order. First item is the approval of the August 5th, 2013 Town Board minutes. Who's ready? Who's got the motion?
I make a motion, we pass them.
Second. Second. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Got two people signed up for the public session. This is not for the non-profit session. Got Dan Williams. Now, Dan, we know about the disdain for the productivity of our workers and cleaning up on Dogwood Avenue. If there is a subject matter different than that, we'll hear from you. We're not hearing from the same subject matter.
It's Dogwood Drive, don't go to the wrong street. But I only been asking for over a year and a half, and it seems like I've talked to the wrong people. I'm like Jimmy Carter trying to deal with Iran, you know, y'all don't hear me. And after a year and a half to do an hour and a half's work, that's kind of ridiculous, isn't it? I hate to keep begging you to do your job, but, you know, I wish you would do your job, be nice.
Angela Moore. Come on up, Angela.
Good evening. My name is Angela Moore, and I want to begin by saying thank you to all of the nonprofits represented here for your hard work and dedication to serving Macon County. That being said, I am here tonight to ask the board to reconsider their decision to give tax dollars to nonprofit organizations. I know that this may sound strange. Who asks people not to give to charities? But I ask you to hear me out. I know that each of your hearts is in the right place as you set aside money for these charities, but I'm here to remind you of your duty to the citizens of Franklin. If I ask you outside of this boardroom, is it reasonable to force individuals or businesses to donate to charity? Your answer would most likely be, no, it's not. But that is exactly what is happening here. The hardworking people of Franklin are being forced, through their tax dollars, to give to charities that are chosen by the aldermen. Of the $40,000 that you will begin to hear requests for tonight, a little came from my husband and me, and a little came from every other taxpayer in Franklin. When I feel led to, I give to deserving charities. Most of us probably do, but that does not change that money that was taken from me is about to be given away by somebody else. I'm asking that you give it back to the citizens of Franklin. For several years, we've heard that there is a goal of cutting taxes, and every year the budget is approved at the same tax rate. Allowing the nonprofit fund to go unused, replace it back into the general fund at the end of the fiscal year, and allow a tax cut of approximately 2.5%. I am grateful for people who volunteer their time and resources to serve others in need, but even more than that, I value the right to spend my own resources as I see fit. So tonight, as you listen to the wonderful things that each of these organizations is doing in our community, I'm asking you to remember where the money came from. I'm asking you to remember that you are forcing your constituents to donate to a charity of your choosing. And I'm asking you to consider returning $40,000 you took from your constituents back to them. Thank you.
Okay, that's the persons to be heard. Moving down, proclamation for Constitution Week 2013. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Come on back here, girls.
That's right.
Well, you're putting the pressure on. Sometimes we don't vote to sign these. At least they told me that. I've been here 16 years and we've never voted. Did we ever turn one down?
I don't think so. I think you're on solid ground.
I'm afraid it is. It ain't going anywhere. Okay, this is the proclamation for Constitution Week 2013. Whereas September 17, 2013 marks the 226th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States by the Constitutional Convention. And the public law guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States designating September 17 through 23 as Constitution Week. Now therefore it is proclaimed by Mayor of Franklin, North Carolina, that September 17th through the 23rd of 2013 is designated Constitution Week, and all citizens are encouraged to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution as 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering lost rights may never be regained. That's the high points of the proclamation. Is there a motion that I sign on behalf of the town?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Glad to do that. Okay.
All of
Thank
you very much. I appreciate it.
Sure, thank you for your attention. I'm gonna pass this down to Lieutenant Lee.
Okay, and we'll pick it up.
Yeah. That'll be fine. We gotta make a copy of it. Let me sign it one more time. Okay. We've got I'm gonna kind of hop around here. Resolution honoring S. Ellis Hankins, town manager. Warren, what was down on that one?
That's actually another thing from Janet. Ellis Hankins was executive director of the North Carolina League of Municipalities, and the league requested a resolution honoring his service.
That Ellis has been a tireless worker for town issues for a lot of years. What says the board?
I make a motion that we make a resolution.
Resolution for
That we
the Ellis
honor him.
Hankins.
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Have it.
Ellis, we're signing for you. Have a good retirement. All right, so pass that down. Proclamation for International Institute of Municipal Clerks. They're wanting to have it in Greensboro, are they?
Yes, sir. That's actually a national conference, and North Carolina is making a bid for it, and the league suggested that we pass a resolution honoring that request to be in North Carolina.
Would Ellis be in favor of that?
Absolutely.
Okay, what says the board? Got a motion?
Second.
Plenty of seconds, all in favor, raise your hand. Be sure to tell Janet that's my signature. She attests.
And you're like, who?
You have to watch the video.
F, set public hearing for Pauline Avenue rezoning request. Derek, got your name on it. Come on up here.
Mr. Mayor, this is the Pauline Avenue rezoning that was introduced to you last meeting and you forwarded down to the planning board. The planning board has recommended approval of that rezoning and also further recommended to set a public hearing for October the 7th at 7:10 p.m.
Questions, comments from the board? The meeting is October 7th. Is there a motion to set the public hearing at that time at what, 7:05?
7:10. If you'll recall, the first Pauline Avenue rezoning request that involved 32 parcels, which came before the board in June, was put back to October, and it will be at 7:05. And then this one that is intended to serve as a complement to that one, but a separate application, we request that hearing be set for 7:10.
All right.
I'll make a motion to set it for 17:07.
Motion and second. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, thank you, Derek. Thank you. Okay. Now we're gonna go back up to B. It says presentation to Southwestern Community College, Dr. Don Thomas. I was noticing as he's getting ready there, we're passing these pins out. like me, and some of y'all might have watched some of that James Bond marathon yesterday, and they can do a lot with a pen, let me tell you what. You gotta be careful, are these just straight pens? Or
Those are straight
they got
pens,
cyanide in them,
Mayor.
or what's the deal here?
Those are just straight pins, but we may not get a presentation to come up here.
Well,
So
okay.
if that happens.
October 7th,
Uh,
7:15.
Oh, look at this. Okay, great. Well, Mr. Mayor, Alderman, City Alderman, it's a pleasure to have the opportunity to visit with you this evening. If I had a presentation with a slideshow, you'd really enjoy it.
Pens work.
Ah,
There we go.
all right. Now, maybe, if it works. Ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests of the panel up here, it is an honor and it's a privilege for me to come in and visit with you about Southwestern Community College and give you a quick update on what we're doing and where we are. And if this presentation doesn't work, I'll still be able to give you 3 minutes worth, 5 minutes worth, or 10 minutes worth of valuable information for it to y'all. So, as you know, we've been ranked number 10 in the nation through Washington Magazine, but more important to us is that we are an exceptional in the North Carolina Community College system. 58 community colleges, we were one of 4 that met or exceeded expectations of 7 of the 8 accountability measures and standards this year. That's a reflection of our faculty and the commitment of our institution and how well our students do once they leave the institution. You know, we have a nursing program. One of the things that I did when I first got here 2 years ago is I did a needs assessment. And in our Vision 2017, we wanted to take the institution to the community and bring the community to the institution. But I'm going to give you a background, a little bit about who we are. One of the things I always said is we're the best kept secret in the mountains. You know, we're kind of that jewel in the rough. And people know who we are, but they don't necessarily know everything that we offer and things that we provide. So we have SEC's outdoor leadership degree is only one of a kind in North Carolina. We have that at the Aldermen Center. We have New Century Scholars, which many of you are probably familiar with that, and that's where we induct 7th graders, and if they kind of mind their P's and Q's throughout their 7th through 12th grade, then they're guaranteed an opportunity for last dollars to complete their tuition. So that's a very excellent program. We have, SEC is only one of 13 National Park Service training programs, but that is down one of probably 10 at this time, and soon to be narrowed down. I know that Mr. Dahl is in the back. He's our Dean of Public Safety and Training. He is constantly in communication with the federal Park Service and the feds, and they're looking at narrowing it down to 4, and we feel very comfortable in knowing that we'll probably be one of 4 of those training programs in the future. This is a great opportunity for us because we bring people in from Hawaii, Alaska, all over the United States, that they come into this area and they're staying here for a duration of time, so they're providing an economic development opportunity for the city of Franklin. Some payroll information to give you an idea how much we generate. I think it's important that for every tax dollar invested, you get $1.34 in return. 60% of our students receive financial aid. 1 out of 4 are at the poverty level or below. So there's a tremendous need for financial resources. Students that invest $1 over the years, as they earn dollars and have their jobs, they will see a $4.81 return. Again, Southwestern Community College is a community college, and we have more than 90% of our graduates, whether they get a certificate, a diploma, or associate's degree, they're people that are sitting next to us in the audience. You know, we have everything from first responders, public safety, allied health programs, and these are people that get jobs and are retained here. Nothing wrong with the university education from higher, the 4-year degree, but a lot of times, as we all know, people come in, I call it the inhale-exhale factor. Universities inhale them, and they finish their bachelor's degree. Do those students that came in from the outside the area, do they stay here? A lot of them get exhaled back out and they're gone. Our students, more than 90%, stay within our area, get jobs, or open businesses. How do we help in the community? Our graduates are there when you need them. We talked about public safety. We talked about, that's a fire. This is our first responders, EMS. We have police departments, training. We provide medical care. We have culinary programs. We can make you look good. Hospitality program. We have your books for accounting. We also can enrich your lives through our cultural experiences that we have with our fine arts programs, our heritage. We give you peace of mind with child care training to have qualified people. Our graduates keep our region running. And how do they do that? Auto mechanics. We have an auto mechanics program. We have computers, computer engineering. We have heating and air conditioning. And we have all your electrical and electronics. When we can help your business, we have opportunities for small business seminars. We can customize training for business and industry, take it to you or bring it onto our campus. Our nation's economy, I'm going to go through these real quick. 95% of employers recommend community college for workforce education training. We are here to serve our community. Nation's workforce, I'm going to go through these. Community college provides a curriculum to respond. I call it just-in-time training, JIT. We can come into your business or industry and say, how can we help you? What are your needs? You can line them out. We can come in and create a program and curriculum and train right away. So we should be able, we're Johnny on the spot from that standpoint. On and off, I mentioned that. Opportunities for retraining, skill enhancement. We have a lot of business and industry that have employees that need their skills enhanced or retrained. We come in and do those kind of things. Growth potential. Give me. HRD, we do assessment for employers that and employees, future employees, what their needs are, what their capabilities are, and help them on their problem-solving, communication, employability skills. We go down to the very basics to help people find jobs. This is just some stats about the number of seminars that we've had. Public safety and training. These are some of the graduates that we've had, the numbers for the number of years that we've been involved with it. You can see we train an awful lot. Workforce education is to enhance the regional economic development. Southwestern Community College, I always say we have 4 legs to our stool, or to our chair. And one of them is Gen Ed, the transfer, the curriculum for those students that want to get started with the community college and then move over and they transfer to Western or to a university and get their bachelor's degree. Then we have developmental education, which is the education for those individuals that may have been gone from school for a while and they come back in and they want to earn their degree. And so we can help raise their skill level to be able to take curriculum type classes. And then we have our workforce and economic development, which you hear the governor and you hear other officials, elected officials, talk about being the economic engine. So community colleges are going to be the economic catalyst to help bring us out of our recession and train people for jobs that we have here, because we're doing dealer training for Harris. $175 for a 7 to 8 week course in that neighborhood will get you your job at Harris as a dealer. That's a pretty low cost for someone to go through training for roughly 7 weeks to become a dealer and can earn up to $54,000 with benefits and jobs of that nature. So we're there to help meet those needs also for that. And then the other area that we have is technical vocational, which is really like our allied health programs and computer science type programs. Okay, so that's quick, down, and very dirty on that one. If I may, one of the other activities that we have going on is that we're doing a needs assessment for Macon County and our growth. This fall, I just got the numbers, and we are up 7.3% in head count in Macon County. And our contact hours, which is the number of courses, the number of hours that a student is taking, is up 2%. So the Groves campus and public safety and training are seeing a tremendous amount of influx into, and as we did our needs assessment at SCC, what we believe is this is where our growth is in Macon County. And it's holding true to the pattern of the number of students that are enrolling. I believe the data shows that we have about 813, 15 students registered for Macon County, with 520, roughly 515 of those students attending at the Grove Center. So the 800 is overall. They may be taking classes here and in Silva, but then 513, 15 of those students are here. And what we have discovered is that the Groves building has already been outgrown. So we're doing the needs assessment to see what we can do to expand that. So we're creating a master plan for Macon County and facility development for SCC. And what that looks like, we're right in the middle of it, so I don't have pretty pictures to show you what our vision may be because we haven't finalized or formalized that yet. But public safety and training has outgrown their facility. They're having more and more requests on demands for training. And so we're looking at what we can do as a college, and we'll be coming to you as a community, but more importantly also to the county, because in the state of North Carolina, facilities are a county's responsibility. So we have to have lots of communications and see what that will look like in the future for us. But all of it is in purpose to benefit the residents of Macon County and look at programmatic needs of where we're at. If this will work, okay. Oops, that's not the right one. So now I can't get out of that one. There we go. It is not on there. Somewhere around the line. Well, it didn't pick up. So I don't have those slides to show you. One of the other things that we're doing is we're writing lots of grants, and we're looking at opportunities to get some federal monies to help with our training opportunities. We're working with Golden Leaf, we're working with Duke Energy, and then we're working with the Department of Labor to see if we can't bring some of the federal funds back to our area. One of the things also, and those will all be, those last few grants that I just mentioned will be for advanced manufacturing, skills enhancement, and opportunity. Manufacturing, as we know it today, is no longer kind of the, just to sit there and mechanical. It's robotics, and they have a lot of computerization and things of that nature. So a lot of our manufacturing business and industry are requesting that we enhance those skills, and we need what they call advanced manufacturing skills or automation in some of those plants with a lot of robotics that they have going on. You need someone to be able to run a computer and program those robotics. So we're looking at those kind of opportunities within our region that will help promote successful job skills for people to get jobs. One of the other things that we did, and I'll end on this, is that prior to my arrival to SCC, we had written a federal Title III grant, and part of that federal grant was the opportunity to raise $300,000. The presentation that I was going to give you was about this. We have $300,000 of federal money sitting somewhere out there in space, and the promise to us was that if you raise $300,000 locally through your college, feds will match that, and there'll be a nest egg of $600,000. That's an unrestricted endowment of which we want to use for scholarships to provide to our citizens and our students that come to SCC. Last year we had 225 applications, and we were only able to award like 40 scholarships. Over 80% of our students that apply for financial need do not receive that need or that help and that support. So what this raising this 600,000, 300,000, getting 300, getting 600,000 will do is it will up it from about 25%. We have a stretch goal of $1 million to $2 million, which will give us close to 40 to 45% of our students' needs. Our ultimate stretch goal would be about $3.5 million eventually. We know we won't do that overnight, but that's just something that we set out there as a target. That will help us meet about 60% of our need for students today. We don't know what that may look like in the future, but the important statistic is that more than 60% are on financial aid. 1 out of 4 of our students are at the poverty level. Over 80% of our students that request need do not receive need. So that's another campaign that we'll have going on, and it's called the Student Success Campaign. And I have some brochures here if anyone is interested in it as an individual. It would be, I'd be willing to share that information with you also. So we got the Student Success Campaign. We've got federal grants that we're applying for to help with training our citizens and our students for jobs now, and then retraining and retooling. And then we have the public safety and training complex here in Macon County, one of the best in the nation. It's being recognized. We got federal accreditation for it. And then we have the Grove Center that does a lot of general education and transfer and technical training for programs for citizens here also. And then we also offer that gen ed transfer for students going on to their 4-year degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. So I'll be around, hang around for any questions if anybody has any questions.
That first, one of the first slides, what you started on and what you finished on was lack of ability to get financial aid to people to go to school. And what you really started on was the multiplier effect of how much more they earn relationship. Right. Don't the powers to be realize that when they end there and go from a low paying job to a better paying job, number one, they can have better families, be better to society. But number two, by making more money, they pay more taxes. Right. And in short order, they pay back in extra taxes more than what was ever planted in that seed money to get them started. Right. The GI Bill proved that long. Right. That was the glowing.
And our veterans are up. I think we have right at 70 veterans this fall compared to what we've had in the past. So.
If you get them educated, they're not in jail. They're not in trouble as much.
Educate, not incarcerate.
And they pay more back in taxes.
Absolutely. And the community college is a real catalyst to help with that because we have short course programs, certificates that are semester-long, diplomas, associate degrees. So we have a lot of avenues to help people and individuals with those types of activities.
Farrell and Billy and I, we grew up in Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
STC. But what was it, mid-60s when it came about?
64.
All right, yeah.
We're moving into our 50th anniversary next year in 2014. We'll have been around 50 years, and hopefully we'll be able to have a celebration down here. So.
All right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Besides mine.
Anybody else? Alderman, anybody else? Questions?
I thought it was very informative.
It's very, very quick, and I apologize because
don't apologize for being quick. I'm gonna listen behind you.
Because when I get wound up and I get passionate about what I love to do, yeah, I could go on and on, but I do appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for the invitation. I would be more than happy to come back at any particular point in time to elaborate on any area. Okay.
Thank you for coming here. All right. Now we'll move on to presentation by applicant dozen. You're not going to get the time Don had. We're going to give you a few minutes, but you're going to go ahead and take just a few minutes. As you know, I'm not running for re-election, so I don't mind banging the gavel too much here, because we know about most of you. You just need to kind of refresh us a little bit. But whenever Don gets that cleared out and clears the podium, we'll get started.
No pressure.
No pressure.
That was perfect timing.
I'll just go down the list, I guess. Angel Medical Center, Don, Captain 40, come on up. You're over there, you're a neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for this opportunity to speak to you this evening. I'm here to ask you to help fund the medication assistance program that we have through Angel Medical Center. The program helps people who are financially unable to receive the medications that they have prescriptions for. The grant that we are asking you to help us with, will support people strictly within the town of Franklin. I can guarantee that. I have contacted the town and gotten a list of the streets and the addresses and everything. We verify every applicant is within the town city limits. I just wanted to share with you a couple of sentences of some of the people that you've helped without sharing their names. We helped a 12-year-old boy this year who was newly diagnosed with asthma to get his medications until he could qualify for government assistance. That's mainly what the medication assistance program does, is help people find the resources. And what we do with the money is provide them a voucher for their medications until they can get financial resources, which is a lot of times delayed. We've also helped, or the town through the grant has also helped a cancer patient here in the city limits to receive the prescriptions that she needed. She was under 65 years old and qualified for Medicare, and it took time for her to get her medications. You've also helped a young man who has major problems with his glucose. Helped another young man who had seizure problems. So there's lots of different medical conditions that people have, and they need emergency medications, but they don't have the financial ability to get those medications, whether it's they don't have insurance or they don't have enough insurance, or their insurance may not cover the medications. So we would just ask that you continue to support the medication assistance program and continue to support the people of the town of Franklin that need their medications.
All right, Tom, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Community Care Clinic.
Last time I was here, it was my first month on the job, and I didn't speak, but y'all probably already have these, but if you pass them around, it's a brochure and the invitation to a fundraiser, which some of y'all have already signed up to be present. And we're looking forward to that on Thursday. But on the brochure, I'd like to call your attention particularly to the statement inside by Dr. Gus Wilde. He's a very faithful volunteer physician, and we need more like him. But when you get a chance, do that. Now, the application you have before you was written by our board chair, and it's very much to the point. And so you've also read that and studied it. But I'd like to first thank you for your support. Your support was very critical in helping us make the transition from total reliance on a startup grant that funded us for 3 years to trying to become more self-supporting, but we've got a ways to go. But our board is busy developing their fundraising skills and contacts, and that takes time and a great deal of energy. But we've made some pretty good progress, and I'm going to summarize some of that. We hope this Thursday evening's fundraising event at a board member's home will raise us $5,000. The First United Methodist Church has contributed $2,000 from their outreach fund, and then did a special appeal on a Sunday that got us another $1,400. Both Rotary clubs have been very generous and have combined contributed so far this year $8,000, plus the Rotary Club of Franklin, commonly called the Noon Club, has also selected us as a place where they're going to provide a number of volunteers. So we're getting a lot of volunteer help from the Rotary, a lot of financial support. Macon County Bank has pledged $1,000 a quarter. We've gotten support from First Baptist, First Presbyterian. All of the rural Methodist churches in this part of Macon County, in the Franklin area, have also contributed about $1,500. So we're making some pretty good progress, and we've written grants. We have a Duke Energy grant in. We wrote a Duke Endowment grant for a lot of money, which never got voted on because Duke Endowment board of trustees voted not to fund any free medical care because of the National Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare. So they were thinking, well, that was going to take care of things, but as you know, it hadn't taken care of anything yet. So, but our big challenge, in addition to raising funds, is to find medical practitioners who will volunteer or who we can pay. Last year we operated two evenings a week and served a large number of patients. But the primary providers, mother died, her father has dementia. She got really some poor health herself, so she had to cut back. And so we kind of left looking. Now, Angel Medical has agreed to has agreed to help us find practitioners. So I really thank you for all of your help.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation.
Sure.
Franklin Garden Club, the girls in green.
How about the boys?
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, there are.
Boys and girls.
I'm Susan Simmons. I'm secretary of the Garden Club, and our president, Jeannie Walters, is back there, as well as some great support that we have. We appreciate and thank you for the past support that we've gotten from you. Let me remind you that the gardens downtown are maintained by club members' volunteer hours, by club dues, and yearly funding from Macon County and from the town. We were able this year to plan a memorial garden for cancer survivors in Rankin Square. We were able to move various plants to make room for this garden so that it could be up front near the statue. We added large boulders in the flower beds that created more interest. We made botanical signs that addressed and labeled all the plants. We were able to install mini annuals that brought a lot of color to the flower beds this year. And then, of course, we did the mulch that controlled the weeds and added moisture. Like we really needed it this year. Goshen Timber Frames is going to make us a pergola, which will be against the red brick wall in Rankin Square. That will go along with the garden shed that was installed last year. This will provide another place for people to sit. We plan to have shade, create shade for people, and make it a comfortable setting for more people to sit there. We've got other plans for special gardens that we're doing. We're going to do a hosta garden, which will have a variety of hostas. It'll be a place where people can learn about hostas and enjoy the setting. Our membership has grown over this past year, and we feel that one of the main reasons is because of what we do in the gardens downtown. The people of our town enjoy the gardens, and we think it adds to the character of the town. And we hope that with your continued support, the gardens will thrive, and there'll be a place for you and us to be proud of. Thanks.
Thank you, Susan.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Aldermen, for a chance to talk about a mission and an agency here in Macon County that's just down the road from you that you may not be aware of. I know some of you have been to visit us. My presentation's a little less high-tech than I brought some pictures just to show you as I talk. I'll pass them down the line. As you may have driven right by Kids Place and didn't know what we were, or where we were. This is the outside of our building. We're at 330 West Main Street. We are a private nonprofit children's advocacy center. It's a wonderful example of a public-private partnership where we are providing a valuable service and working in conjunction with your Franklin Police Department, which we have a wonderful, as you know, Franklin Police Department. And they call us anytime they have cases of child abuse. Because while they are wonderful at what they do, they don't often feel comfortable talking to little children about abuse. One of the things and part of our national accreditation is being a child-friendly and child-safe place. So this picture is a picture of our waiting room. When you come in the door, we have tried to make our facility, we're in that beautiful old stone house down there, and so we've tried to make it feel more like a living room and a place for our families to be comfortable. And just beside that, we have a playroom that's got all kinds of wonderful toys. And if you look through the door in the background there, you can see our kitchen beyond that. Children might be waiting, and families might be waiting at Kids Place if they're waiting to talk to a professional that's involved with the child abuse investigation. We work with children from age birth up to 18. They might be waiting there if they have a case going to court, because you can stand in our front lawn and see the courthouse up the hill. So the district attorney's office can give us a call and say, we need you up here in 5 minutes. It's a lot more kid-friendly to wait down there. If you've ever been in the courtroom, it's not a very friendly place for kids to be. One of the things services we provide for children is we are very fortunate in Macon County to work with Dr. Sandra Wolf. She has had specialized training. She's the only physician in Macon County currently who is rostered with the Child Medical Evaluation Program at Chapel Hill and to do child abuse exams. We have an exam room on site at Kids Place. And this keeps our children from having to go to Asheville for this type of exam. We've got the specialized equipment that's needed to document and diagnose. And that has been very valuable for our families and for cases. I would add that with Kids Place working as a team, right now we have 100% for the last year successful prosecution rate, which sends a real message to our community of we take care of our children. One of the services that we work most closely with with the Franklin Police Department is our forensic interviews, and here's a picture of our forensic interview room. We have a specialist on staff who has a master's degree in social work. She has been trained in evidence-based interview methods for interviewing children. She has been trained to not ask yes or no questions. It would be like me asking you to describe brushing your teeth this morning without using the words toothbrush, toothpaste, teeth, getting that kind of information and knowing how to do that in a legally defensible, child-friendly, age-appropriate way. So that is something that we gladly do. We have closed-circuit TV cameras. We've got in-ear listening devices, so the police officers, the social workers sit in one room and watch and listen to the interview while the interview takes place in our interview room. And that's very valuable. And then the last service there is our therapy room. And we do provide evidence-based therapy, which I get really excited about. We're seeing a 90% reduction in trauma symptoms in children, which is incredible. And then the last thing I brought to share with you is just some Kids Place brochures. And then I never pass up an opportunity to share child abuse prevention information. So there's some information. And I know that's been really fast and really quick because there's 12 of us.
Thank you.
Do you have questions?
We're just hearing from you tonight. How many years you been there now?
I've been there 20 years, too long ago.
Nope.
Thank you for being there.
Thank you. Fine.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Macon County Care Network.
Good evening, Eric Collins. Excuse me. Been quiet for too long. Good evening. First and foremost, I want to say thank you again for extending the invitation to all of us nonprofits for coming out and making a
Your name just
proposal. Oh, excuse me, Shana Atkins with Macon County Care Network. Again, we want to thank you for your consideration of our proposal. As it's outlined, we have requested the full $5,000 in commitment. $3,700 of that we've actually asked or requested for a project that has been, if you will, on the back burner for some years now. This is actually to install an AC unit in our warehouse where we store most, if not all, of our product or goods that have not yet gone on the pantry floor and or been distributed to families in need here in Macon County. We have an existing unit or a gas furnace, if you will, in the warehouse currently, but it's obviously only providing heat during the winter months. So we are looking to add a unit, an AC unit rather, to that existing unit. We have received one of the best bids we've found so far with that, and that would include the labor, permit, electrician, etc. On top of that, as you may remember or recall from years previous, we typically request the full funding amount and $4,000 of which we've asked for food, strictly for purchasing of food for the soup cafe, pantry, as well as our backpack program. And then we usually ask for an additional $1,000 for town of Franklin water bills. We are asking for $1,300 for the town of Franklin water bills within the last year, and even more up until this point. We're still seeing need for individuals with assistance on delinquent bills or upcoming bills that they cannot afford to pay, whether it's due to a job layoff, economy, you name it. They are coming across hard times and they cannot afford to pay their water bill. I do want to I kind of got off track when I first started because I wanted to make a reference to the young lady who was kind of upset, maybe if you will, with giving money to nonprofits. I think I speak for a majority, if not all, of the nonprofits represented here tonight, that we struggle just as much as anybody does in maintaining our business. And CareNet is unlike any of the rest of them, where we struggle to maintain a budget, and we see a need for it every day for people who have hard times. We are here to bridge the gap during times of crisis. That's our motto, and that's what we stand by day in, day out. But with the help of local businesses, organizations, town grants, and these community members in Macon County, we're able to make it. But it is not without opportunities like tonight to come and ask from this community to continue to support us in that movement. Without you all and without the rest of this community, we can't do what we're doing. So I do again thank you for your time, your consideration of our proposal, and your continued support.
Good presentation, thank you. Habitat for Humanity, Rick, is that you?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Alderman, thank you for the opportunity. I'm Rick Westman, Director of Habitat. I want to thank you for last year and your support of the full 5,000. We used it right here in the town. We intend to use it again this year in town. We helped 3 individuals, Irene Hampton, Mr. Berry, and Mr. Beatty. We did a roof, rotted floors on one house, a roof on another house, and a roof on a third house. Now, that's not all the jobs we've done in Franklin. We also helped with some of the nonprofits. We're rebuilding one of the reach shelters right now. We helped the pregnancy center. We're actually helping one of the retired police officers' mother, Larry Moses. We're going to change her bathroom to a handicap bathroom for him. So we'll do a lot of other stuff, not just build houses. But this money will be strictly used for the town of Franklin. A lot of young men over into Franklin that help us out, because basically all this labor is done with the Over the Hill gang, and the average age is 65. So it's nice to have some nice 18 to 24-year-old college students to get the job done. And we also
go to Linneman.
We also not just help with houses and building houses. We also help families that are burned out. We give stuff from our store to help get families back on their feet, furniture and clothing, and dishes and stuff. And we also help when somebody comes out of reach or one of the other shelters. We help set them up. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what we do.
All right. Thanks, Rick. Thanks a lot. Macon County Historical Society Museum, Mr. Poindexter.
I see. You better be careful about it soon.
I know that.
I used to sit where you guys are sitting in a town about double the size of all of Macon County. And people keep asking, why don't you run for office? I said, I love the competition. I'd love to run to be elected, but I hate these meetings. In another life, in our school system started the first community college in North Carolina. And it's still going in Alamance County. The best deal that a student gets in North Carolina is the community college system. Because if you go, I was also vice president of a very good college, Elon, it's now called itself a university. But people graduate in four-year colleges now, Joe, and can't get a job. Community colleges prepare people for jobs. Speaking of the lady that was up here earlier talking about not giving money to nonprofits, folks come into our county all the time because they say, oh, we got great things here, they love it here and whatever, and as soon as they get here, they want to start changing everything. And that just bugs me. I had that happen when I was sitting where you're sitting. I asked a woman, she was from New Jersey, and I said, why did you come down here? I said, why are you trying to make us what you just left? So then it got a standing ovation, but anyway. Right. I represent the Historical Museum and Historical Society of Macon County, which includes Franklin. Both the county and the town have been very supportive of the museum. I joined the museum on the board in 2008 and have been president going on now the fourth year. As soon as I guess I was vice president, I went upstairs to the third floor and I couldn't believe what I saw. Because 35 years earlier, there was a fire when the Pendergrass owned the building and then sold it to Seals and then to our organization. And very little had been done. And so I made up my mind and said, I'm going to see what I can do. So the first person I called was Bobby Bishop. All of you know who Bobby Bishop is, building inspector. Because I always worked with building inspectors because I built about $100 million worth of buildings in another life. But anyway, Bobby came over, showed him what the problems were, told him what we needed to do and what I saw. He said, you won't have any problems with me. I said, okay. So I started working with contractors, getting people lined up. I called him the second time and I said, okay, I'm just about ready to go. Come one more time and be sure you don't get on me about something. He said, okay. So he said, you just keep on doing what you're doing. And so for the last 3 to 4 years, we've been working on the third floor. I've had contractors who did some free work. I've had contractors who gave me good prices, maybe half prices, etc. And I can only work when I have money or have contractors to get the job done. I have one person from a contracting firm who's been working for the last 2 weeks. And I get a lot of other free help and whatever. But you have been very helpful over the last few years, and you'll see the information there of what we're requesting this year. I did find out, I haven't got money from this past year, because I found out, I guess a few weeks ago, they said, Bob, your request didn't come in on time. Not request, but asking for your reimbursement. So I said, well, I want you to read this article that I signed and that Sam signed. I said, there is no date. There's no date on it. It's due. So I'd request that we get the money we were approved for last year, and then also what we're asking for this year. I won't go over anything because you already see what we do. Thank you.
Thank you, County Public Library.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Carol Grice. I'm the Outreach Services Librarian for the Montana Regional Library, and I'm here on behalf of Karen Wallace, who couldn't be here this evening. And I want to thank you for your past support of the Macon County Public Library. I'm here to talk today about the Reading Rover Bookmobile. And I want to let you know that the Reading Rover Bookmobile is very vital to the town of Franklin. We provide educational opportunities for our youngest residents. I have a low-tech picture of the Reading Rover in case you all have not seen it around town. We visit 6 child care centers in the Franklin area. We provide monthly library service right to the door of these child care centers. And our monthly service includes story time, which provides children and their caregivers early literacy experiences through books, puppets, and finger plays. We develop early literacy skills like increasing vocabulary, helping preschoolers learn letter sounds and letter names, and develop rhyming, and also foster the love of books, reading, and a love of the library. We also do other things to benefit the Franklin area. We bring books and puppets and all kinds of library materials to the caregivers and the children. They get the opportunity to go on the Reading Rover Bookmobile and take out materials to use in the child care centers to increase their daily literacy experiences. And our Rover staff models age-appropriate storytime techniques to the caregivers. We encourage the caregivers to continue these techniques in the classroom on a daily basis using the materials that they borrow for the Reading Rover. We also provide training to parents and caregivers, and in those trainings we instill techniques that they can use at home with their families or in the classroom so that the children in the Franklin area start out to school being ready to read and ready to learn. Residents of the town of Franklin want their youngest students to be challenged and to be ready to learn when they go to school. The quality of childcare in our area is dependent on having good literacy experiences. 90% of a child's brain develops by age 5. The service provided by the library's Reading Rover contributes to school readiness and gives Franklin's children a good start to becoming lifelong learners. In order to maintain this valuable program, we are seeking funds from communities that we serve. These funds will help us operate the vehicle and provide the staff. We face cuts in Smart Start funding from the state, which is about half of our budget. And we thank you for giving us your utmost consideration to keep the Reading Rover on the road in Macon County.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Thank you. Reach.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Turner Lynn, and I'm here on behalf of Reach of Macon County. And when I was thinking about, when I was sitting back there, I was listening to everyone, and I was thinking about what the young lady was talking about with the nonprofits. I was reminded, not only are we appreciative of your community, is the spirit of Macon County and the support, the integral support that we have between other agencies and within other nonprofits. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of Habitat for Humanity and all the assistance that they've provided REACH, the collaborative working relationship that we have with CareNet and providing the backpack program. It's about so much more than just the money that you give us. It's also about the spirit that we have and the ability that we have to be able to work together to make things happen. Because it's not just about, nonprofits don't provide services to get recognition. They provide the services because it's the right thing to do. And when something is the right thing to do, then that's why you make sure that the services are available. A lot of people, when I work in the school system primarily as my job at REACH, so I teach 7 months out of the school year to 5th or 9th grade students here in Macon County, providing violence prevention education. And a lot of times I ask my students, so what do you think REACH is? Well, inevitably they're all like, you're in the thrift store. That's what you are. I'm like, well, we do have a thrift store. And the thrift store is important, and it does help provide needs for clients and also other people in our community who might have experienced a tragic loss, such as a fire, loss of their home. But we are so much more than that. REACH of Macon County provides a shelter. We're the only shelter in Macon County. There is nothing even close to us that can assist with victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. We provide a 24-hour crisis hotline. We're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We make sure that we provide court advocacy services. We have counseling services, group services. We have job and life skills. We have rape prevention education. I am so proud, when I think of the size of our community, so proud of the services that we're able to provide. And I think just in terms of numbers, domestic violence and sexual assault is not a happy topic. It's not something that we tend to think a lot about and ponder on. A lot of times we would rather not think that people in our community are victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. But on average, we can serve as many as anywhere between 50 and 90 different in-person clients per month in our agency. In addition to the other services that we provided, last year we provided 1,827 court advocacy services, 894 crisis counseling services, 2,671 hotline services alone, just with Macon County. The services are needed, greatly needed, and we are the only agency within our community that is able to provide those services. So I want to thank you for your continued support, and also thank all the other nonprofits here who continue to work tirelessly for their missions. It's nice to see that we're not competing with each other, but instead that we're helping each other. And always know that while the victims tend to be silent, I promise you that they are very thankful for the many things that you provide for them.
Thank you, Jennifer. That's good. Read to me. Mr. Dale.
That would be me.
Fred's boy.
Proud moniker, I suppose, right? I also thank you for allowing us to come forward this evening. Mr. Mayor, you talked about education, how important it is to have a good citizen who pays taxes. The library talked about literacy, how important it is that a kid by the age of 5 certainly has been exposed to the books and is able to read. We would expand that a little bit more, Read to Me would, to probably through the 3rd grade, 5th grade level in that area. That's our target audience, from about 5th grade through birth. 5 areas, not 4. Public relations, mainly get the word out on how important literacy is. The library, frankly, does a lot of good for us there, as does the radio station and the Macon News. Book collections and distributions, all these festivals. You'll see, well, she's gone. You'll see the Macon News, Laura, myself, and about 20 other people out giving out books, talking to kids, giving out brochures, trying to collect money for some of our other programs. Book collection and distribution. The Girl Scouts have been a big help there, as well as businesses. You'll find boxes in at least 2 of your businesses that I know of, so we can gather those books. Parent training. The library talked a little bit about that. When we have these parent training events twice a year, we bring parents and kids in. A young parent who doesn't know how important reading is won't make the effort. So if we can just get 2 or 3 parents to understand that and put a book in the hand of a kid, hold them in their lap and just show them the pictures, that's important. Have about 60 people the last time I think we did one of these things. Essay and poetry contest, Rotary Club of Franklin, we fund that. It's about a $750,000, $750 to $1,000 program. In the elementary schools, we do that. The biggest expense is Dolly Parton Imagination Library. That gets a book in the hands of the kid each month, from birth to age 5, for $30. $30. I mean, you can't do anything for $30. It's a great deal. We couldn't do this without our partners in the Highlands Literacy Council, without the Fontana Regional Library, and without the Rotary Club of Franklin. So we're here today to ask you to help us fund some of those Dolly Parton kids. $30, we figure there's about 245 kids that fall in this category. And that's a wild guess, I'll tell you that. Because we just kind of looked at demographics and the people who come to our events. They're generally from East Franklin, some of the local schools. So it's a pretty good guess, but about 245. Yeah, that's $6,000. I know your limit's 5. Whatever you can give us to help these kids, we'll be happy.
Thank you, Gary. Scottish Tartan Museum.
I hope you'll be patient with me. I may need to have to sit down. I had major surgery and I'm still recovering and will for the rest of my
Sit down
life.
there where you were.
Sit down.
Oh, can I?
Yeah, the microphone's not on.
Oh, well then, let me do that. Who would have thought? Okay, I'm Nancy Deeks from the Scottish Tartans Museum and Cultural Center. And thank you for the opportunity. I don't believe that the Scottish Tartans Museum has ever appeared before you to ask for money, but we are appearing tonight to ask you for money. Right now, we're very well known. We're the only Scottish Tartans Museum, which most people don't realize, in the world outside of Scotland. So we get calls and emails from all over the world asking about tartan history or Scottish issues, etc. So we're pretty well known there, but frankly, we're not very well known right where we are in Franklin. So our project is to want to make more of an impact, a positive impact on Franklin and Macon County as well. One of the things that was 2006. This is called The Scots, Irish Celts of Macon County, New York by James A. Bowman, who's one of our local historians. This, by the way, is the tartan that has been developed for Franklin, that was made for Franklin. Anyway, in this book we have a list of all the names of the people in the year that this was done, 2005, all the names, the surnames of families who have they're either Scottish, Irish, or Celt background. So it's not just Scottish. Scottish has more than the meaning of just Scottish. Scottish involves people like me who have Irish background, whose family name appeared in one of the books that the museum has, anyway. Let's talk about how we want to impact Franklin. One of the things that we need, and I'm not asking you for all the needs that we have, just for one of the pieces of the picture that we're trying to produce here. We're asking, what our project first is that we want to be able to first categorize, catalog, inventory all of the items in the museum. And I'm talking about the thousands of items, those which are packed away and those which are not. And there's a reason for that. We also need to have a security system. And the reason for that is that our goal is to be able to, once we get all this information categorized, to be able to contact other museums. It's very common for museums to exchange artifacts and exhibits. And what we'd like to do is to start improving our reputation here. And we'd like to start in the museum having new exhibits, not just the same thing, but new exhibits that we would borrow. Museums actually work, I didn't realize this when I started this, but museums actually work. We could borrow from, so we need the funding. What we're asking for is the funding for the security system. In order for us to be able to borrow things from other museums, we have to have a security system because no one's going to send their good stuff to us and thinking we're just somebody who won't protect and take care of the items. Once we have that involved, we're going to try to make some what we would call major events here in town. We'd like to create those, and we'd like to be able to call on people, perhaps even to help as volunteers. But we'd like to have like maybe 2 or 3 a year, having a grand opening for a new exhibit. It'd be in the evening, a little little homemade snacks and all, and kind of make it a big deal for people, letting them know that not only are we here at the museum, but that we have interesting things. I mean, there's actually a tartan that went to the moon. We thought we might try to get that as one thing, just because it would get people in the door. That's what we
But
wanted.
you need a security system.
Yes.
In the 28, 29, 25 request, presumably that's an estimate that you've received of what this.
It's exactly what that is. That's
All right.
exactly. Plus, however, we have asked for, but if we don't get it, it's going to be okay. We've also asked for a year's subscription to the service. That's $1,200, so that's an additional.
All right.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Smoky Mountain Pregnancy Care Center.
As to not take up too much time, I put
No, I
packets
won't let you.
before you so that you can take them home and look them over, because some of you may not know about our gym here in Macon County. I'm Jenny Golding, I'm Smoky Mountain Pregnancy Care Center CEO, and I came aboard 3 years ago, but the Pregnancy Center is not new to me. The Pregnancy Center was started in 2001 by my previous pastor's wife, so we're on our 12th year. But the problem in the town of Franklin has not gone away in 12 years, because as she saw her kids coming home from school and talking about this child being pregnant and that child being pregnant, they had the same issues with my kids growing up. My son graduated 2003. My daughter graduated 2003. My son graduated 2003. My daughter graduated 2011. And I have a senior at the high school this year. Last year we had 4 14-year-olds pregnant in Macon County. This past year I've had a 46-year-old walking in the door saying, I think something kicked me. And by having the Franklin Smoky Mountain Pregnancy Care Center's availability for these clients, we have free services. They come in and do a free pregnancy test, and we follow it up with an ultrasound to verify, yes, you have been kicked by the child that you are 6 months pregnant with. So get ready and go, because you're going to have a new baby in 3 months. And she's like, my son's in high school. So our need is here. Today we did 3 pregnancy tests in Macon County alone, not including my Cullowhee clinic. In 2011, our board looked at our budget and we were $40,000 in the hole, because from 2008 to 2011, churches who had been supporting us, we are a Christian faith-based 501(c), they had to either cut back on their spending or cut us out totally from their missions. And this is what we have been supported by, 100% community support. Scholarships and grants are fine if you live in a big city near a abortion clinic, which we do not. Furthest abortion clinic is in Asheville or down in South Carolina. The other requirement is that we are a big city with a lot of African American population. Macon County is not. So we get nixed out of the big grants and scholarships. This year is the first year Smoky Mountain Pregnancy Care Center has ever started applying for grants. We have applied for the grant from you to help our parenting classes. On top of doing the pregnancy test and ultrasounds at our free medical clinics, we have parenting classes, and we get referrals from Macon County Health Department, Angel Hospital. Sometimes they need things, or a baby's been born that wasn't expected, and we provide things to take that child home in. The parenting classes, sometimes people are going to court to keep their children or to get custody or visitation rights. And these men and women come into our center and do classes at their own pace. Then they reap rewards because they earn points, and they go into our baby store. We do not give out handouts. That is not what we're there for. We're there to provide free pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, and to let them earn while they learn. And I've given you the brochure. There's over 100 topics in there, from prenatal care, development, discipline, labor and delivery, breastfeeding. There's a new toddler package out that we do not have, and that is one of the requests that is in the packet with you today. The other thing, we would like to update some of these DVDs. These DVDs happen to be on VH tapes. I don't know how you all still have tape players, but they need updating. When you put in a thing and the person looks like they're in their 70s, it's hard to get these young kids to hear and to focus. So we would ask for the amount that we requested. This is our first time, I believe, coming before the town board. We are right behind the clock tower in Macon County. Right beside Frankie's? We are right beside Frankie's. God bless her. Right there where the farmer's market is. If you look over, you'll see our awning. So we are in the heart of the town. And Frankie has been one of my volunteers since we started. So we run a huge banquet. Saturday night is our big fundraising banquet. It's only the 7th annual fundraising banquet, and I can't figure that out because this is our 12th year, but I wasn't CEO. So we're having 350 people, and we are started a sponsor a day program where we are asking the citizens and businesses and organizations to come along and sponsor a day for us. We've taken what it costs to run our facilities. We have one here in Franklin and one over in Jackson County in the heart of the university's campus. And we divided that by the 365 days.
All right. All right,
Okay.
thank you. According to my list, that takes care of the applicants. And we certainly appreciate that all of the applicants had someone here, and the presentations were good and they were timely. We're going to take a break here in a minute, but I can tell you at the end of our agenda is a suggestion that we set a continuation meeting for Monday, September 23rd at 5:30. Now the board hasn't voted on that. But the idea is that we will at a later date this month have a meeting to discuss and to make our decisions on these fundings. It's an open meeting. You're certainly welcome to come. It won't be a chance to get a second bite of the apple. Don't think you can come at least directly anyway. But we certainly welcome your all's participation, and I do feel comfortable that the board is resolute in their opinion that it is a good, justifiable, good use of some of the money that we bring in for clubs and organizations such as yourself. So I feel like the board is comfortable. It's part of our budget. Did we miss anybody? We're going to take about a 5-minute break, and then we'll be able to wrap this up. Thank you. The 23rd is closed. That's what all right. Warren?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about this Old Town landfill lease.
In front of you tonight, there's actually a revised copy of that lease. There were a couple of typos and a few other things John and I wanted the county to touch up on this. A little bit of history. Of course, y'all know that the town still owns the property where was originally the Old Town landfill, which then became the county landfill. Macon County had a permit to actually operate it when it was in existence. There's very few things you can use that property for. Well, one of them happens to be an airfield for remote controlled airplanes. Apparently for some time that facility has been there on the property, and Macon County has done a lease with them, and then somebody missed the T being crossed somewhere and realized that we needed to be part of the lease since we actually still physically own the property, even though the landfill is permitted to someone else, even though we don't necessarily want to own landfill. So before you, we have a lease agreement that will be jointly worked between the occupants of the airfield, which are the 111C Flyers, and the town of Franklin and Macon County. So barring the fact that you could just give them that property to be done with it, I think we probably need to go ahead and do the lease with these folks.
It's been reviewed, John?
It's very much to the town's benefit, because the county, they might have felt okay to go ahead and issue a license, not to get technical about it, not really a lease, but the county might have felt okay to go ahead and let them use that property And if somebody got hurt out there, they come looking for the owner of the property as well as the county. So this way we get agreement that they're gonna, use it safely and get insurance that'll cover both us and the county and all that good stuff.
I'll tell you, I had occasion a few years back to go out there. It's such an amazing piece of land. And it's about what, 20-some acres, Warren, total, but around 8 acres is as flat as a pool table. And if it would just quit cooking underneath there enough where we could use it for recreational fields or such, it is just up on the bluff up there. It is just really is. It's just waiting to happen. It may still be environmentally too challenging, but a future board is going to have a lot of fun with a piece of land like that because it's going to get back into the useful stream. So what should we do? What's our recommendation?
My recommendation is to approve the lease as given tonight.
Would somebody want to make that a motion?
I would. Motion.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. I notice this is just a couple, I'll need to get in when Janet gets back and sign something.
We'll get you there.
Okay. All right. Tax release, Warren, you're on the roll here.
There was actually a parcel, and I presented you with a package of paperwork tonight. Parcel number 659-445-6703, total of 7.75 acres. That's one of those parcels when you did the last annexation, maybe years ago. That's being the municipal border cuts through a portion of this property, and unfortunately, when the tax bills went out this time, that wasn't caught to just tax that portion of property. We have verified with Macon County the parcel or the acreage is actually in the city limits, which is 1.75 acres, and essentially you all need to release the remaining part of that property, and the tax bill will be calculated appropriately on just the portion that's inside the municipal limits.
The right thing to do.
Yes. And we have all the documentation, including the written request from the taxpayer.
Tom Cole, he'll bounce you at church on something like this. When I'm there.
We are.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion. I want my brownie point. Okay.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, update on the street maintenance ranking system.
Your streets have actually been put through the process that you all approved last month. A couple of issues we actually found. They tend to group together, basically essentially groups of 10 or 12, because there's only 3 criteria that we rated. So Derek and I went back. Derek did a lot of work as far as fine-tuning the actual ranking system. So we're going to go back through the next group, the group of top 10 or 12 streets that we have, fine-tune those out to make sure that we actually give you a top 1, 2, 3, 4 selection. Another thing that we actually learned as we went around and looked, we've talked to Jay a little about this, some streets may have issues that are not the entire length of the street. You may have issues, for instance, at the entrance where you turn into the street. And one of the best ways to leverage the money we have is, now that we know where those problems are, or where we think they are, to present to you, is go back to those streets, look at the distance, get a figure for what it's going to cost to repave those, do whatever, get an estimate, and actually figure in, maybe we only need to pave half this street. Maybe the other half's good, so we can leverage the money that you have. So,
yeah, just something like that.
So we intend to have that for you hopefully next month is the plan, once we go back through and recalculate. And there's a lot of driving. Derek and I found a lot of streets that 26 miles is a long way when you start looking.
All right, good. The last item on the agenda for tonight, the legal, how do we want to handle this?
I'll introduce it, and then John can probably answer a few things. Obviously, John has a contract to be the town attorney that you all have to approve. And his contract has actually been expired. He's been month to month. So we actually need to go back into the process and reapprove a new contract with him if you're so willing. which will be my recommendation. The contract that he's presented you is basically a mirror image of the one that was done back in 2009.
Same terms.
For a 3-year term with a 1-year renewal at the end of that. My recommendation would be to approve the contract.
I look at it, I'm okay with it myself. Do a good job, son.
We like you, John.
I like you all too.
I make a motion that we approve the contract.
As presented,
I second it.
discussion, all in favor, raise your hand. All right. So, then I believe that, I've announced, maybe we can back it up here, the thought is that we would look at the 23rd of September, which would give us 2 full weeks between that meeting and our October meeting, and the agenda item, there'd be a recessed meeting, so it's really kind of open for other things as well, but generally it would be to make consideration of those requests which were given to us for our funding. And that would be Monday, September 23rd at 5:30, some light refreshments or something of that sort.
Steak dinner.
Are we okay with that, board? A motion that we recess the meeting until that time and
I
date.
so move.
All in favor, raise your hand. This meeting will be in recess till the 23rd of September at 5:30.